New season, brand new regulations, and hopefully a shake-up to the Constructors' standings. Those hopes were quashed after testing, but saying goodbye to the ground effect era and hello to the active era of the sport has hopefully given us a few hot messes, emerging stars, and the hilarious downfall of Aston Martin, proving that Daddy Cash and Richie Rich the driving bitch are a stain in F1. So here are my predictions for the Constructors' Championship. If you agree or disagree with any of these here, get in the comments and tell me how stupid I am. 11th, Cadillac. The first brand new team to the grid since 2016 with Haas, and unlike the Banbury outfit who purchased most of Manor Marussia assets, they're doing it alone, aside from the engine that will come in 2029. Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas is a brilliant lineup for a team like Cadillac, being able to push the car to its limits and having the ability to use the new energy systems correctly to develop a car for the project that could see Cadillac become a force in the future. A car seems to be very basic, as expected, but unlike in the past where Williams, Haas and Alfa Romeo have been at the back of the grid, there is positivity in the air for the sport's new arrivals. However, it will most likely be a nil points season for them. 10th, Aston Martin. It's looking very, very bleak for Aston Martin, but I'm only putting them this low for the fact that there's no way that Lance Stroll is able to develop a car that is this horrific. Fernando Alonso has his work cut out, it seems, with the reliability of the car, the least amount of laps during testing. Having waited to drive an Adrian Newey designed car, the aero package might be great, but if the car doesn't move, then what's the point? Who knows if they're even going to get on track at the curtain raiser down under. Honda have already held emergency meetings for their engines, so that's a positive thing. The prediction may look silly if, much like McLaren did a few years ago, they get their shit together and upgrade the car to something that is good enough to at least not be adrift with the Cadillacs. 9th, Racing Bulls. Racing Bulls are in a very tough position. They have two drivers that probably would not have been at the top of their lists, Liam Lawson leading rookie Arvid Lindblad in what will hopefully be both their first full seasons at the same team in the sport. With changes to the hierarchy, a leniency has hopefully been found, meaning less haste for driver changes. Being the sister team, they will get help from that new Red Bull Ford powertrain, but I'm sure that the sister team will be holding back some information. 8th, Alpine. A disastrous final year of the ground effect era proved that the French outfit are still as dysfunctional as they always have been. Flavio Briatore being back in the sport is good for no one besides Briatore and his accountants. Pierre Gasly dragged that tractor to 22 points last term, and Franco Colapinto is quick when he's not crashing. They have a Merc engine, but will they be able to put together a full package? They've looked decent throughout testing. With Gasly, points should come at a fair rate if they can maintain an even semi-competitive car for the duration of the season. 7th, Audi. Audi are an interesting team. They've moved on from the Ferrari powertrains and now have their own engines. Sauber had a decent final hurrah in 2025, with Nico Hülkenberg getting a podium, and despite finishing 9th in the Constructors, they have seemed to have got some of their ducks in a row over the last 18 months. A midfield team picking up points when they can, with Gabriel Bortoleto someone I feel is ready to prove that the hype is worth it. 6th, Haas. I don't know why, but I'm on that Haas hype train this year. The gritty Haas has transformed into a complete team. There are now higher expectations on the side, who have been progressing well on and off track for a while now, with the ever-increasing role of Toyota into the American team being a real positive. Ollie Behrman has the ability to have a wonder race and get a huge haul of points, whilst Esteban Ocon is at his best when he has a point to prove, and he sure needs to show he's as good as he is to keep his race seat. 5th, Williams. This is the season that Williams team principal James Vowles has pinpointed as the season that the team returned to consistently fighting at the top of the grid, but this has now been pushed back to 2028. Missing the Spain shakedown forced Vowles to come out to reassure fans and media alike that it was always the plan to continue the development of the car instead of the 3 days of running. The weight issue will be a stumbling block over the start of the season. With Carlos Sainz, they have a driver who is perfect for helping develop a car, and the partnership between Sainz, Vowles and Alex Albon proved to be worth it, with the trust that the car can be challenging towards the end of the season. And with a Mercedes engine, they will be another beneficiary before the race 13 regulation change. Even if the rest of the package isn't as brilliant at the start of the year, with two very capable drivers, they will be looking to put clear gap between them and the midfield. 4th, Red Bull. I mean, if it wasn't for Max Verstappen, Red Bull would be in a whole load more trouble than they already are in. Yes, they have a very decent package this year, and the trust in the new Red Bull 4 powertrain does give confidence to their ability to perform this season. But their over-heavy reliance on the Dutchman has been a real worry for onlookers, and more importantly, some team members for a while now. Isaac Hadjar is a good driver, but it will have a lot of work to do to avoid becoming driver number 5 to struggle in that second seat. A rather ordinary season could be on the cards for RB in the Constructors. Third, McLaren. A fall from grace for the current World Constructors title holders, McLaren will be hoping for a much better start to the new regulations than they did for the ground effect era. They're in a much better position as they were back then, but in what could be a big season for engines, being a Mercedes customer could be a blessing in disguise or a stumbling block. However, as seen in Miami 2024, one upgrade can be the catalyst to surge up the grid. Currently, the best driver partnership on the grid, and I will stand with that opinion. There won't be any call for the World Championship hotline, however, there will probably be some season-long regulation drama between the fat man Zach Brown and some other teams. Second, Ferrari. The team that have uncovered and brought forward most regulation mishaps to the FIA has been Ferrari, and they seem to have been all over these new regulation changes, especially with their starting procedure looking like a rocket ship compared to a bunch of Renault Clios. Add in the undeniable talent of both Sir Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, winter changes to their trackside team will hopefully give a better fit for both drivers, especially the 7-time world champion. The Monegasque seems to be one with the car. His times on the last day of testing were quick enough to be on the grid last season. On pure racing ability, Ferrari are a top 2 team. But for what seems to be the past 16 years, the guys sat on the sidelines with the headsets on their heads have been their downfall so many times. Get those guys in shape and they could be finishing second. The prancing horse is well suited to these new regulations and have seemed to have cracked the code for their 2 drivers. That means my prediction for the World Constructors Champion is Mercedes. They have a clear advantage with their engines, and the factory team will be wanting to keep all the glory for themselves, having had a customer team win the title for the past 2 seasons. The matter of how much of an advantage the compression valve actually has for the first 13 races will have to be seen on track, but the experience for the team back in Brackley, if any changes are needed, they should deter them for too long. With one of the strongest drivers on the grid in George Russell, the Silver Arrows are favourites to win the Constructors' Championship for the first time since 2021. The driver's ability to give helpful feedback in development will be key this year, and in Kimby Antonelli, they have a little genius who is in love with his knowledge of the car. So there we have it, my predictions from 11 to 1 for the Constructors' Championship. This should be the most intriguing season in a long time, and if you think I've got these incredibly wrong, get down in the comments and telling me I have negative wheel knowledge. Or, if you agree with me, share how you believe that we're both geniuses. Please consider liking and subscribing, and if you fancy another video of mine, I have picked this one that I believe you'll like.